Well, you can see that I have a finished book, but it wasn't easy because of things that had happened in my life. I have traumatic brain injury and I have severe tremors. So I would start to write the book, I would start to type it, but as I would begin to type, my hands would tremble so much. I was so frustrated, I didn't know what to do. I was writing about a specifically very difficult, very black, dark time in my life. And I was sitting at my computer and I was sobbing. And I just put my head down and I said, I cannot do this anymore. So I got up that night and I had my manuscript and I walked into my living room where my husband was sitting watching a ball game. And I was sobbing. He said, what's the matter, honey? I said,
Jerry, I can't do this. I can't type.
how do I know that anybody will read this book? And maybe I'm going through this for nothing.
Why would God tell me to do something and I can't do it? I just can't do it, Carrie.
And he said, Dale, he said, I'm so sorry. I said,
God, if you don't show me right now that I'm supposed to finish this book, I'm going to throw it away and never pick it up again. I'm sorry, Carrie. I'm going to bed. Good night.
I walked into my bedroom. I sat down on the side of my bed and I picked up my phone and I flipped over to Facebook. And there was Pastor Rodney Howard Brown speaking at his church live. And he said, this lady was so full of guilt and shame that she wanted to die. She attempted suicide. And then the Lord transported her to heaven, where she saw her little girl dancing around the feet of Jesus. It was a vision that I had had in his church back in 1993. And at the very moment that I shook my fist at the Lord, he answered my plea and my cry. When he said those words, women all over the sanctuary jumped up and started running. And he said, friends, there are people being set free all over this auditorium. And I called my husband. He ran in there. I said, look, God is answering my prayer right now. And we both held each other and wept and wept. And he said, who are you anyway, that you could shake your fist at the Lord and he would immediately answer you? I said, I don't know, but I know what I've got to do, and I've got to finish this book. So the last plan I had was that I would just handwrite every word. So every word in this book was scripted. As I would write and it would flow, the tremors would subside. So the method was this. I would script out the writing of the book, send it to my friend in Tennessee. She would type it out, send it back to me, and then I would email it to Brussels, Belgium, to my friend there, and she would edit the book. That went on for months and months, but finally we got it together. And I will never forget when Phyllis sent me the last page and said, it's a wrap. We had completed the book. Since I have written the book, it has been validated over and over again. And I have received calls, letters, emails, texts from all over the world. Most recently, I had a phone call from a friend that I went to high school with. And she had gone through some terrible trauma in her life. And she called me, she said, I tracked you down because a friend gave me your book, and she tracked me down. And she said, I just called you to thank you and to let you know that I am so grateful. I've read your book and it saved my life. And I saw what God did for you. And if he did it for you, he can do it for me. She said, you've given me such hope.